turn to the ranking member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we get to the judges, next week we're supposed to have an impeachment trial of Homeland Secretary, DHS Secretary Mayorkas. He was impeached by the House for failing to do his duties, and it's up to the Senate to do its duty. But apparently what we're going to do is do a motion to table the impeachment process. I don't think he's even been given a summons, and we're going to short-circuit the Senate trial in a way that's never been done in 200-something years. I think there have been 21 people impeached from the House since the late 1797. All of them have had a disposal in the Senate by some form of trial, except one who resigned. But the Democratic majority is going to abandon that. We're not even going to have any debate about the articles. Y'all have decided, for some reason, just to make a motion to table to end it before it starts, which violates every tradition of the Senate. I think it's constitutionally wrong. Just another example of taking the Senate and turning it upside down to get what you want. In 2013, Senator Schumer and Reid started the idea you don't need anything but a simple majority for circuit court judges. That set in motion where we are today on the judiciary. There is just a majority required, that came to head when we were in charge and Gorsuch was filibustered. So the Senate's rule, longstanding rule about getting 60 votes has been abandoned. It started in 2013. Everybody on this committee has voted to change the rules of the Senate to do away with the legislative filibuster making us the House. Now you're going to take the impeachment process and turn it upside down because you just want to get on with it. You don't want to have a trial about whether or not our border is broken to the extent that the man most directly in charge should be impeached. Bad day for the Senate, just a continuation of the wrecking ball approach y'all have taken to the institution for political purposes. And we may avoid a trial, but you're not going to avoid the issue. The American public, I hope, in November will hold you and the Biden administration accountable for obliterating our border, for allowing it to be chaos on steroids, for creating a situation where smugglers not only are bringing human traffic individuals in from all over the world, they're also facilitating ISIS. I've never seen a situation at the southern border like this. We're at all-time high of illegal crossings. The terrorist threat to this nation is off the charts. We're on pace, if this continues, to have 3.6 million encounters every year. And December was the highest December in the history of the country. And this doesn't count the gotaways that Senator Cornyn talks about all the time. To say it's chaos is just really not justice. It's criminal, really. What you've allowed to happen is a violation of any sense of responsibility by Secretary Mayorkas to protect our country. He's in charge of Homeland Security. And this is what the FBI director said. While there have been many times over the years where individual threats could have been higher here or there, I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated at exactly the same time. And so we have a trial pending in the Senate about whether or not the man in charge of the border should be impeached, and we're going to do a table to motion, a motion to table. We won't even talk about the substance of the articles. We won't even summons the guy. We're short-circuiting the process. The first time in 200-something years we've done this, and you're avoiding a discussion about the most important topic I think many Americans are facing. One of the reasons that I think he was impeached, he has absolutely abused the law on parole. Parole is required an individual analysis. 2 factors would allow you to be paroled into the country: unique humanitarian need or some unique ability you have that would help the country. During the Obama-Trump years, 5,600 people on average were paroled into the country. In FY22, 795,000. I think Mayorkas is violating the statute. I don't believe him when he says you do an individual analysis to Laken Riley, the individual that was paroled in, I don't believe for 1 minute they did an individual analysis on why he merited parole. I've asked for his case file. I haven't gotten anything. The reason I haven't gotten anything, I don't think there's anything to give me, and they just don't want to admit it. So, pretty bad day for the Senate. This will be the norm, I guess. You know, President Trump was impeached twice. I'm not asking you to agree with the impeachment of the House. I'm asking you to follow the constitutional process that's been set up for 200 and something years. When President Trump was impeached twice, we went through the process. People got to argue about the articles, people got to present evidence, and the trial was disposed of, but here. So I want the American people to know, when it comes to evaluating whether or not Secretary Mayorkas should be impeached, we don't have a chance to do that. We're not even going to get to debate the articles. We're not going to produce any evidence. We're not going to have any debate about whether this is legitimate. It is going to be stopped before it starts. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. Never in the history of the Senate has this been done, to table the articles of impeachment before the person impeached has even been served. This takes us down the wrong road. It's the first time ever, and unfortunately, it probably won't be the last. So the impeachment process now is a victim to the Democratic Party's efforts to get results no matter what the law requires. Very sad.